Welcome to CEO Insight's Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Welcome to CEO Insight's Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Is the strongest enterprise are those that constantly evolve. It's no longer the game of how big you are, but now the game is how big your ecosystem is.
Now, but I think this really speaks volume why we're attracted to hang out with one another. Like for example, in CEO Insights Asia, I really like spending time there because I'm surrounded with like-minded people. So,
good morning, everyone. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. I am Chris, the founder and CEO of Morningstar Network Corp. Today's topic is Beyond Talent, where the key objective at the end of this session, you will learn how to install 3 scaling competencies. Ayan. Just a quick reminder why we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. is we want to install DNA principles that scale organizations. So to all our participants here in Zoom, 14,000, in the viewers in Facebook, ano pang inaantay nyo? Punta na kayo dito sa Zoom so that you can join the conversation. What we want you to accomplish is that we want you to gain or get one insight, even at least just one insight that you can immediately apply and execute in your organization, in your day-to-day operations. And that's the reason why we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. The theme for this month is leadership, and the focus is being a multiplier, where we expand life-changing impact in an ever-increasing measure. We talked about functioning in systems. We're going to talk about scaling in numbers and also moving in team. So a quick overview, the topics for this month that we have tackled already. 2 weeks ago, week 1, we talked about Beyond the Walls, where the key objective was we learned about the importance of our leadership beyond the walls, that we are stewards of our organizations. Week 2, last week, we talked about Beyond Luck. It was a very wonderful topic where we learned that great companies happen by design and that we'd rather manage our organization or manage our companies deliberately than rely on something that we do not have control of. So this week, today, we are on week 3. We're going to talk about Beyond Talent, and next week, Beyond the Myth. And week 5 of April, we're going to talk about Beyond Entrepreneurship. Ayan. So a few announcements before we start. Circle meetings are happening every Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Here, we have a new circle meeting with Genevieve Bakang. It's Ripple Kids, and also alongside with the other circle multipliers. So if you want to have intensive CEOs leadership training and you want to share business practices and insights, you can sign up on the link that Carol will provide on the chat box. Ayan. So ang daming circle happening. And so for you to have an idea also what it is about, let's watch the video. It's just a 1-minute video for a while.
Hello CEOs, this is Carol Priola from Monilikha, and I just want to tell you guys about the circles. Joining the circles helped me better install DNA principles because we hang out with people with the same mindset as we do, which is people who build for legacies. And I remember this quote saying, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And in this circle kasi, you go fast since you learn from the mistakes of other CEOs. And you go far since you go through intensive discussions in which you gain principles that you can apply in your future ventures. And that is why I highly suggest circles kasi we learn a lot and this makes it efficient. Thank you.
Ayan. So that's Keril, the CEO of Munilikha. Ayan. Shout out sa kanya. Nandito siya ngayon. Another announcement is we have unlocked 20 plus circle participants this week. And we want to encourage everyone to really invite your CEO friends in the circle meetings that are happening every Tuesdays at 11 a.m. So yan, nandiyan kami, MN Starnet. So shout out sa mga venture partners namin na nandito, uma-attend, and alongside with other companies that are with us. Ayan. Next, ito. Grabe to. Yan. BK Rivera is our faculty for April 29 and he'll talk about beyond entrepreneurship. Kung di nyo pa kilala si BK, mag-hangout pa kayo dito more so you will know more about BK. Ayan, sign up kayo sa circle meeting sa Tuesdays at 11 a.m. So yan na. Beyond Talent. Ano bang naiisip nyo when you think about Beyond Talent? It is my honor to introduce the Executive Advisor of CEOInsight Asia, the CEO's Whisperer. Ito yung phantom na nag-a-appear at bumubulahaw sa himbing ng tulog ng mga CEOs. Kahit ngayong holiday, babalikwas ka. So let's welcome our speaker that will teach us the principles of scaling. Sir Fa, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series. Title for today's talk is Beyond Talent. So magsasorry na ako sa inyo ngayon na holiday pala! Hindi natin alam para sa mga agaya natin. Wala nang sense of day eh. Si Tidoy nga, Daddy, holiday! Diba? Meron ka pang work. Hindi ko alam ha. Sorry. Masistema kasi tayo. Isang taon na natin ginawa ito. Nakaplano na eh. Hindi natin nakita na holiday pa lang ngayon. So for the 17,000 participants, dami ngayon ha. And for the people watching in Facebook, ayan, please do join us here. And in the event na hindi nyo maka-join ngayon, you can watch the review in our YouTube channel and listen to it on Spotify. I'm very pumped up with the talk for today kasi this is a very exciting topic na gusto kong pag-usapan. Particularly dahil we are in the midst of scaling organizations simultaneously with our client partners, with our CEOInsight Asia. So fresh yung ating lesson for today or yung topic for today. Ayan, may mga nag-message sa akin, team replay daw sila, si Miss Mel. Ayan, holiday kasi, pasensya na. But sige, umpisa na natin. Diba? Ayan, teka lang. Ayan. So for those who don't know me pala, my name is Florentino A. Hernando. I'm one of the founders and executive advisor of CEOInsight Asia. And we exist to infuse ideas that build lasting companies. So for the 1,700,000 people here, you're here because you and I and the rest of us want to build our companies to last for over 100 plus years. Yes? At yun ang pag-uusapan natin, how do we make that happen? Yan. So nagpapakilala na ako, di ba? May mga bisita tayo eh. Okay. Alright, agenda. Ano ba mga pag-uusapan natin for today? May conversation starter tayo. Si Roel, team replay daw yan. Yan. Kikinontrata ko kagabi eh. May lakad daw sila with the family. Tapos naalala ko, holiday nga. Anyway, I'll just ask a question. Nandito ba si Lai? Shoutout naman si Lai of Flavor kung nandito ah. Ayan. Siya ang una kong tatanungin eh. And then we'll talk about defining scaling. We'll talk about some data, facts, and figures, reasons why startups fail to scale. Yan. And then we'll do a quick case study. This is going to be a amalgamation of different experiences to protect the innocent as well as the guilty. So I'm not gonna share kung sino yung Ayun, nandito sila eh! Kung sino yung pag-uusapan natin. But you'll get the principle behind the case study and then we'll get practical. Okay, so ready na kayo? Ready na. Alright, sige. So, let me ask si Lai dahil kinontrata ko to at na-miss ko to ng 2 linggo. Hindi daw siya nakapasok last week eh. Sige, Lai, floor is yours. What critical skill must a CEO have to scale their company?
Well, obviously, good morning, everyone. And it's Good Friday, so this is very good. Pasalamat ka, wala ako sa outing. But anyway, what critical skill? Obviously, I do not belong to a startup company. So, ang scaling ay nauna na, supposedly. Upon my engagement, meron na. But then, yung critical skill na hinahanap ko supposedly from a CEO is yung the ability of the CEO to scale sustainability
Mhm.
of the company. As you mentioned earlier, yung yung 100 years, yung centennial, ganyan. Yung sa sustainability, it's not just all business for me. It's not just kailangan kasali din sa business model ang human capital.
Yeah.
It is actually ang pinakamalaki naman talagang investment is the human capital.
Yan.
Because it comprises the company. So kasama yan sa sustainability. Yeah.
Okay.
Yun lang. Oo, nag-promise ako, maikli lang.
Yeah. Thank you. Sige. Maraming salamat. Love na love natin yan si Ma'am Lai of Lay Bear. Yan, sige. Si naman, Jap. Sir, ikaw na. Diba? Andito pala si Roel, kaya lang driving ata eh. Sige. Sir, floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Good morning po. Hi, Sir Fa. For me naman po, yung critical skill na a CEO must have is for me yung communication. Hindi ko rin siya forte. Pero ayun, in order to scale kasi, communication, kahit yun yung hindi lang naman siya sa way ng pakikipag-usap natin kapag nagre-read din ng books, di ba? Yung author nakikipag-communicate sa'yo. And dun kasi magigain mo yung knowledge. Mm-hmm. And yun talaga, pinaka-importante din sa pag-scale. Also, pag nakikipag-usap sa iba, dapat clear and concise. Kasi kapag hindi, parang it's either may masasayang lang na time and effort. Yes, yun lang po.
Alright, sige. Thank you so much, Sir Jap. Ayan, shoutout pala dun sa ating multimedia partner na si Keril, no? Behind the scenes yan. Siya yung nagsascript. The man of secrets. Yan, sige. Okay. So let's continue with our session. The resources that I've used, some of the resources that we use dito are CEO Next Door, one of the finest books when it comes to being able to become a CEO. Yan. And then How the Mighty Fall by Jim Collins and Growth Engines, unlocking yung mga startups who have extraordinary growth. So if we've been participating here for the past few months, makikita nyo na may pattern na, no? Laging nandyan si Jim Collins. Kasi read these books. And again, if you don't have a copy, message the page, message me. I'll send you an ebook. My goodness, di ba? Ako na nga yung nagmamakawa, bibigyan ko yung libro, magbasa kayo. Di ba? Okay, sige. Okay. Let's define first kung ano yung scaling. May binanggit natin yung key skills that we think we need to scale the business. Pag-usapan natin yun in the practical stage. But for now, let's define muna para align tayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin natin when we talk about scaling? Okay? So scaling a business means setting the stage to enable and support growth. For interaction with the audiences, kindly type yung red highlighted word para engage tayo. So it's all about setting up or reconfiguring the organization to cause it to grow at the same time to sustain that growth. We're not just about growing. Hindi tayo all about success alone. It's all about sustainability of success. Yun yung pinag-usapan natin last week, no? In your company, it means having the ability to grow without being hampered. So scaling is causing and ensuring the sustainability of growth. And that's a different skill set when you are an entrepreneur. Most entrepreneurs kasi, they don't have this, you know. And when you're starting a business or an enterprise or an organization, the primary focus of entrepreneurship is building a customer base, building customers, you know. When you're scaling, the focus now is building a sustainable enterprise. So those are two different skill sets. Okay? Ang problem is most entrepreneurs know the first one. I know how to build a customer. Yung iba pa nga, I know how to build a great product, but I don't know how to build a customer base. So entrepreneurship is about building a customer base. Scaling is another skill set na pag-uusapan natin mamaya. Shout out, andito si Sir Errol of Romano essentials. Ayan. Sige. So, let's talk about what scaling is not para malinaw sa lahat, no? There's an online article written by Harvard entitled Mid-sized Companies Shouldn't Confuse Growth with Scaling. Okay, just search it in Google. Okay, magkaiba ang growth and scaling in spelling and in meaning. Okay, ano ba ang sabi nila dito? No? Growth means adding revenue at a pace that you're adding resources. Scaling means adding revenue at a much greater rate than cost. So, growth means you're growing, yung revenue mo, sumasabay din yung resources mo, manpower, cost. So that's growth, you're growing. Diba? Scaling is you're growing your revenue and you stay the same or at least minimal change in the cost. So that's scaling. Right? So magkaiba yan. Growing is you grow the cost, yung revenue, so it's the resources that you need to sustain the growth. Scaling is you're growing the revenue while you're maintaining or little changes in the cost or resources that you will be needing. Right? So, with that, dito, this is my definition. Scaling is not entirely about growth. Scaling is growing, sure, but it's not entirely about that. Scaling means having the what daw? Please type kung ano yung highlighted, underlined, emphasized word. It's having the discipline to grow slow when you can and grow fast when you must. So scaling, the title of this talk is Beyond Talent. Kasi you need to have the talent of scaling in order for us to scale. While at the same time, beyond the talent of scaling, we must also have the discipline to make sure that we are managing the growth. And this is where many people, particularly entrepreneurs, miss it. And they end up imploding. Startup is a phenomenon, no? You're changing something in the order of things. That's why you started a startup, and then may magandang acceptance yung startup natin. Now we want to sustain it, so we have to have the discipline. This is what you call strategic management. Okay, and that's why you need mentors later. Makikita niyo yun. Strategic management is you are aware of the situation right now and you are employing certain activities based on the situation of your company. Hindi lang grow. Diba? Kasi ang tendency, and I talked with the CEO last year, no? He admitted to me na, sabi niya, actually, ang ginagawa ko lang, kinokopya ko yung ginagawa ng competitor ko eh. Pag may ganito sila, gagawin ko. And he's built a multi-million business. You know? So, ang problem dun kasi, pag copy-paste tayo, diba? Pag nag-iisip sila, kaya nila ginawa ito, diba? Kasi there's a certain strategy behind that. If we're copy-paste, we copy the outcome. Uy, nagbukas sila ng branch doon, bukasin tayo dito. Uy, may bago silang product na ganun, gawa rin tayo. We see the outcome, we didn't see the why and the how. Na yun lang, ang nakikita lang natin outcome. And because copy-paste, ang nangyayari, hindi na sustain. So we have to be very careful. We have to be strategic in starting and scaling our businesses. So far, so good. Yes? Ayan, maraming salamat sa engagement. Ayan. Okay, so as we move forward, ayan, some facts and figures para meron tayong pag-uusapan. Ito, this is from the Startup Genome Extra report Extra on Premature Scaling. There's a PDF, one of the finest data na pagkukuha na natin when it comes to startups. Nasa Google din yan, Google nyo na lang yan. Okay, ito yung mga yung mga findings natin. So, founders that learn are more successful. Okay, constantly learning. Startups that have helpful mentors, track performance metrics effectively and learn from startup thought leaders. Raise 7 times more money and have 3.5 times better user growth. As an investor, I always, people come to me, they say, what do I need to do to succeed in my business as a startup? I offer 2. Ito lang naman dalawa. You have to have money and mentors. You have to have money to do your business and then mentor to guide you. But if you're yun yung dalawa. But if you're going to pick, okay, sa isa lang, pick mentor. Because if you have money and you don't have a mentor, susunugin mo yan. Been there, done that. Okay? And I've seen that 1,000 times. Same movie, different actors. But if you have a mentor, kahit wala kang pera, you will eventually figure out how to make money and raise some. So you have to have mentors, right? Yes, ito na, nag-uumpisa na ako ma-high blood. Okay, sorry na. Game. Umpisa pa lang to. Okay, startups that pivot once or twice raise 2.5 times more money, have 3.6 better user growth, and 52% less likely to scale prematurely than startups that pivot more than 2 times or not at all. That's why we need mentors. Hihint ko na, circles. Di ba? You want to learn from other people. They are your mentors as well. You are a mentor in CEO circles. It's once a month, once a week. Di ba? So, pagka meron ka kasing mentor na tuturo sa atin kung tama bang mag-pivot na ngayon, may guide eh. Di ba? Na pinanggalingan niya na to eh. Di ba? May mag-guide na, ganito gawin natin para hindi tayo mag-crash and burn. Or, there is someone who can connect us. Diba? That will provide us the resources that we need to grow and scale our business. So there. What else? Diba? 72% of founders found out that their initial intellectual property is not a competitive advantage. Alam naman natin to, Apple is not the first first MP3. iPad is not the first MP3. It's not the first phone. Okay? Facebook is not the first social media. Diba? You get what I'm saying? It's that they're the better. They're being a first does not ensure sustainability. It's better execution. So makikita natin na what we're having or what we have in our business is not the first, but we have to have mentors who will help us better execute and provide the resources that we need to scale our business. Yan. Hands-on help from investors have little or no effect to the company's operational performance. Funny, no? But again, the right mentors significantly influence a company's performance and ability to raise money. You don't need to have formal mentors, You go out and seek mentors. And where to go? Go to a circle. Nandiyan ang mga makakatulong sa atin in building our business. And it's free. You just show up. Yeah, maximize that. Most successful founders are driven by impact rather than experience or money. Dito sa CEO Insights, we're all about building for legacy, as Keril has mentioned. Paulit-ulit niyan, maririnig. We're all about building institutions that last more than 100 years. Yun ang gusto nating mangyari. It's possible. P&G, it's over 100 years. GE, Citibank, there are a lot of companies. We're studying them and how do we do that, getting the principles and apply to our organizations. And what we discovered is money is not the end game. Diba? You don't buy a car to put fuel in it. Diba? You buy a car to go somewhere. It goes the same with business. You don't build the business to put fuel on it. Diba? You want to accomplish something, a purpose, beyond simply making money. We'll make money, lots of it. Walang problema ron. But it's not the end game. Okay? So ito, the data has shown. Hindi lang naman pala experience or money ang key to succeed. It's an impact or a mission beyond simply making money. Startups need 2 to 3 times longer to validate their market than most founders expect. This underestimation creates the pressure to scale prematurely. Highlight on that. Okay? The problem kasi with startups, tayo, mga driven tayo mga excited, mga entrepreneurs, no? And we see success. We somehow misinterpret the initial success na ganito lagi. Na, 2 years kong na-build to, 2 years akong successful. Bakit 2 years na hindi pa rin ako nakagaya nung umpisa na ang bilis ng success ko, ba't bumabagal na ngayon? Okay? That is the gap. And because of that, the temptation to scale prematurely happens. Okay? It takes longer. Patience, it's a long-term game. If you want to build something that will last, it takes a lot of patience. And for us to maintain that patience, we have to have people who share the same DNA as ours, reminding us na, it's a long-term game. Kasi pag mag-isa lang tayo, wala tayong network na nagsasabi na long-term game ito, we tend to do some things na hindi natin dapat gawin. Right, more than, ito masakit sa dibdib to. More than 90% of startups fail due primarily to what daw? Paki-type dyan. Primarily to competition. It says there what? Due primarily to self-destruction than competition. We shoot our own foot. That's why startups implode. They die an untimely death. Okay, here's the principle. Okay? Most startups die not because of starvation, lack of opportunities. They die because of indigestion. Sobrang dami ng opportunity kung ano-ano pinagagagawa. Okay? Because if you're good and you are good, you will grow. The problem doon is not the growth. The problem doon is how can we manage the growth so that we'll be able to scale. Yes, so far so good. Please type yes if you are learning something new. Yan. All right. Ito pa. Yan. Premature scaling. And here is the culprit. Premature scaling is the most common reason for startups to perform worse. Okay? They scale prematurely. Hindi pa ready yung organization, yung system to accommodate growth. Okay? Kuha ng opportunity. Okay? They tend to lose the battle early on by getting ahead of themselves. Startups can prematurely scale their team, their customer acquisition strategies, or overbuild the product. That's why organizations implode. Mamaya, pag-uusapan natin how yung case study. But that's the culprit. We scale prematurely. We overreached. Okay? We overpromised na ganito ang i-deliver natin sa mga customers natin, sa clients natin. But the capability of the organization to accommodate and sustain that growth, nag-i-implode. Right? So, reasons why. Bakit ba nag-fail ang mga startup to scale? Okay, I'll give you 3 reasons. Marami. Okay? But this is the first 3. The first one is ignorance. They don't know how to scale. Okay? And I was working with someone messaged me past week asking for a meeting, and then I accommodated that person. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're here, no? And the company's been successful in the past 15 years. Okay? And they're only 5 staff. And they want to branch out. Kasi ang dami na hanggang dito na yung projects nila eh. Yeah, to the point na ina-outsource na nga nila sa competitor yung mga projects nila. And they want to, and even their customer saying, pwede ba kami mag-franchise ng branch na mag-branch out kami, mag-franchise kami ng company niyo para we were able to, kasi they're really good, but they're doing it for 15 years. And that's why they're talking to me. We want to branch out, we want to scale. And we're having that conversation. So they don't know how. Okay? That's why some startups they fail to scale because they don't know how. The second one is arrogance. They want to grow fast too early. And as an executive advisor of ngayon, mostly startups na, no? I see this. Okay? Alam ko when a growth of a startup or a CEO is because of arrogance, not because of smart move, but it's arrogance. Alam ko yan, nakikita ko yan sa mga CEO. Bakit? Ako yan eh. Nangyari sa akin yan. I have failed startups in the past, and current, diba? So it's I had this conversation with my wife back. That was 10 years ago. Okay, I started an organization, and it went through the process. May founders breakup, diba? And it came to a point that I was building the startup, and the dream became a nightmare. Okay, I had this dream of building something that will change the world. Eventually, it became a nightmare. I'm doing it on a weekly basis, but I hate every moment of it. So what happened? And unlike CEOInsights, I do this every Friday at 10 a.m. And I don't care whether it's 5 of you or 19 of you. And I don't care. I'm gonna do this every Friday because I love doing it. But back then, now I'm much more seasoned now. But back then, I was doing it, and then I finally had the humility to look in the mirror and ask myself, why am I doing this ba? And the reason, if I was honest, I'm doing this because it's not about the vision anymore. It's about proving my partner wrong. It's about proving to people na look at me, I'm successful. Iniwan mo ko, I'll make this happen without you. Diba? It's more about that than about the vision. And I was sharing that to Tidoy. Hindi pa kami mag-asawa noon. Sabi ni Tidoy, Bubu, yun nga yung tanong ko sa'yo eh. Alam mo nang hindi nagwo-work eh. Kasi it's not working anymore. Pero tira pa rin ako ng tira. Pinipilit ko pa rin. Hindi ako nagpipivot. Because I was driven to prove something. It's not about the vision anymore. It's about proving. It's about me. And I want to be seen as successful. Na parang, look at me, huyo kayo. Diba? Ito yung hi ex, ako nga pala yung sinayang mo. Mga ganun ba? Diba? So I had to fold that startup. I had to take a break and reflect and fix something in me. Kasi it's not the right way to build something. So it's arrogance. If you're doing something right now and it's less about the vision and more about proving someone else wrong, then have that conversation with someone. Talk to Chris or talk to talk to me. It doesn't matter, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's the beauty of a circle. Anyway, the third one is hubris. The company starts chasing new opportunities long before gaining command of the existing business. Nakatikim lang, nakabenta lang ng 500,000, o 1 million sales a month. Siguro, ako na CEO, okay, ikaw, ano ka na? Gagawin na kitang COO, tapos ikaw, ganito. Di ba? Nag-hire ng 20 ka agad. Diba? From 2 to 20. Diba? 1 million lang. Mahirap yung gano'n. Tapos mag-start na ako, iwan na kita dyan. Iwan na kita, bahala ka na dyan, mag-start ako ng new venture. Hindi pa nga na stabilize yung business model. So they feel that because I am successful in this area, everything I touch turns gold. The Midas principle. Again, that's me. Nangyari na sa atin yan. Kaya alam ko, di ba, when I'm talking to a CEO and I know that it's driven more on the arrogance and hubris than more on the mission. That's why I share my insight na, I was in your shoes like 10 years ago and that didn't end well. It created a lot of heartache in the people around me, myself, unnecessary heartache. Diba? So, okay. All right. So far so good. Learning something? Yes? Ayan. Grabe, sayang iniwan mo. Si Chops, relate na relate. Ayan. Totoo yun. Okay, telltale signs of premature scaling. How do you know? Ano ba yung mga senyales? Okay, I'll just give 3. Sa business model, yung unang-una. Ayan. So, anong sabi dyan? Yung business model daw, hindi nagpipivot. Diba? There's no feedback loop. According to the changing environment. That's why, papasok na naman, a mentor is critical or a circle is critical because it helps you keep in check. Right? When I was scaling my failed startup, wala akong ganito. Libro lang ako. Bara-bara lang. Wala naman kasing ganun eh. Kaya nga natin in-start yung CEO circles to have a community of CEOs where we can help one another. And when I was doing that, walang feedback loop. And I was working with ngayon he was a client of mine. He was a founder and CEO. Sabi niya, the beauty of executive advisory that we do since we meet once a week is that you strategize weekly and pivot regularly as necessary. So yun yung maganda ron, no? And that's what a circle offers you. You can strategize on a weekly basis and you can pivot as necessary. Okay? What else? Yan, business model. So pag walang feedback loop, tira ng tira, medyo that's a sign that you're scaling too fast, too early. Financials, daming pera. Having too much makes us undisciplined. And there comes the undisciplined pursuit of more. Okay? So we become medyo maluwag sa paggastos. Ibig sabihin nito, yung mga maliliit na bagay, mga maliliit na cracks nakakalusot. Bakit? Kumikita naman tayo eh. 'Di ba? Hindi napapansin yan, hindi pinapansin yan, pinapalampas yan. But there's a problem with that, 'di ba? And this is a phrase we always kid about kami ni Paolo, no. Sinasabi ko sa kanya, si Paolo Hilario of Bear. Yan, sabi ko sa kanya, when the tide is high, it floats all boats. When the tide is low, we'll see who's swimming naked. Okay? So pag mataas, mataas ang benta, maganda ang performance, lahat ang popogi. 'Di ba? Walang mali. Yan, 'di ba? Pag may supply, okay lang 'yan. Lusot. Pero pag nag-low tide na, and it will happen, that 2020, 'di ba? Nakita natin kung ano nangyari. Nakita natin kung sino mga built to last, 'di ba, na company. Sa 20 yung nangyari yung bumaba ang nag-low tide, nakita natin. Okay? Kung sino yung hindi talaga nagpe-perform. At doon, 'di ba, yung mga pinalampas noon hindi na uubra ngayon. Kaya lang sana kung hindi pa noon pa lang, umpisa pa lang, hindi na natin pinapalampas. Na tayo problema. Anyway, so when you're having too much money, we become undisciplined, we ignore the little things. Yan. Last but not the least, too much money. Eto, hiring too many people too early. Yan. So nagkakaroon na ng CFO kahit, 'di ba? 3 months pa lang yung company, may CFO na. Tapos may mga layers na. May customer service rep. Yan. So may GM na. Yeah, so you have to base the organization in a situation na kung saan you can manage the growth, di ba? You pace the progress. Okay? What else? Ano ba? Yan, adapting multi-level management hierarchy. 3 months old, 6 months old lang ang staff na nasa 100. Naku, hirap nun, di ba? Okay lang, ang hirap nun. Parang ilan na ba yung nun? Parang depende sa sales mo, yan, no? Tsaka depende sa capability nung nagra-run ng organization. Baka naman fourth startup niya na yun. Okay lang yun. Fourth startup niya, 4 months pa lang yung company, 100 na yung customer, yung 100 na yung team. Okay lang naman yun. Pero if you're fresh, bago pa lang tayo, medyo kailangan nating tignan-tignan ito maigi. Yes? Okay, may time pa ako. Okay. So, what triggers premature scaling? Ano ba ang nagtitrigger sa premature scaling? Bakit ba na nagpi-premature scale ang isang organization, isang CEO? Ito yan. It's because of growth. Not all growth are good. May mga bad growth na natawag. Okay? Because when we're growing, progress is addictive eh. 'Di ba? Nakaka-high na, uy, lumalago tayo. 'Di ba? And when we're high, we don't think straight. Dito nagkakaroon ng mga desisyon na hindi naman hindi sound, hindi na pag-isipan. Because growth is addictive, makes us high. And high people don't think straight. So if your organization is in growth stage right now, all the more maging paranoid tayo. Okay, all the more. Pag malaki ang revenue na hindi natin na-expect, mas dapat tayong kabahan. Kasi ibig sabihin, we don't want to make a decision. I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm saying much more be careful in how we decide the next steps. Mas mindful tayo sa mga decisions natin. Because that's where we tend to overreach, right? So, here's a question. Why premature scaling kills startups? Bakit nga ba? We talk about premature scaling kills startup, diba? And anong mga cause? Their arrogance, ano pa ba? Arrogance, ignorance, why they fail on scaling, arrogance, ignorance, and hubris. What causes it? Yung addiction to growth. Diba? Nakaka-high kasi yun eh. Okay. So bakit namamatay ang mga startups when they prematurely scale? And it's one word. Please type the word na lalabas dyan. Yan. Sorry na. Di naman. I'm just saying, pace lang, pace. Yan. Cash. Diba? Cash in an enterprise is gas. Cash is gas. Kahit pa mag-drive ka ng Mustang, 200 kilometers, 250 kilometers per hour sa T-Plex. Kung maubusan tayo ng gasolina, tulak kotse tayo. Right? So it's cash. Okay, that's what kills startups when they prematurely scale. They run out of it. Dami mong building, at the end of the day, hindi building ang pababayad natin sa Meralco. Dami nating equipment, dami nating tao, hindi yan ang pambabayad natin sa renta. Hindi yan ang pambabayad natin sa mga utang natin sa bangko. Okay? It's cash. We pay everything cash. Kahit pa may office size sa BGC, diba? 10 floors pa yun, or 100 floors doesn't really matter. Diba? Kung wala tayong cash. Okay? So, let me share. I believe this is a case study na. Again, this is an amalgamation to protect the innocent as well as the guilty. This is an amalgamation of the example na gagamitin natin. Okay? So, this is a true story and change a lot of details. So, this CEO, she started a business and in the first month gained 100,000 sales. Binago ko na lang yung numbers, pero sort of like that. Okay, ang operational cost niya is 20,000. That's the first month. But this CEO is so good. Second month, nagdoble yung revenue income. So maintain pa rin siya, 20,000. Okay. Third month, from 200K, naging 1 million. Jump yung revenue na sobrang laki. Because of that, okay. So I started hiring. Nag-hire ng mga managers, may mga tao, may mga supervisor, nag-rent ng expensive na lugar. So ang OPEX niya is 700,000, $500,000 doon is manpower. Okay? That's the third month. And then nag-assign siya, okay, I'll be the chairman now of the board. And you're my friend. You become the CEO. You run this. Okay? So ganun yung nangyari. And what happened is in the fourth month, of course, the CEO is new. Hindi naman siya ganun kabihasa makakuha ng bagong business, di ba? So mga, let's say, 500,000 ang nakuha niya. Tapos si CEO, nag-hire din ng mga kailangan niya. So naging OPEX niya is 1 million. Ang revenue lang niya is 1.5. Yan, 1.5 million. Okay. Next, fifth month, ang nangyari, nag-end of contract na yung engagement. Tapos yung isa nagsabi na, hindi pala, nag-back out sa engagement. Ayan, and then nag-drop ngayon, no? Yung income for the fifth month. Paano yung cost hindi naman nag-drop? 'Di ba? Yung operational expenses. So you see the trajectory of this organization. Okay. And this happened, and it is sad, the organization is no longer in existence. So yan. Okay. This is one classic. This is not what they call this. This is not a rare case. Okay? Lalo na sa Pilipinas. Napaka-normal nito. Pansin nyo naman, di ba, tatayo ng business yung kaibigan natin. After 5 months, wala na. Okay? Because it wasn't really built to last or built to scale. Okay? There was nothing like this. Okay. So, as we move on, ito yung key principle. No matter how fast you run or how big you grow, you die when you run out of oxygen. That's it. And cash is oxygen in an organization. Cash is gas, cash is oxygen. Kahit pag gaano kalaki di ba? Ang katawan natin, kung naubusan tayo ng oxygen, we die. That's it. And the only lessons that we learn are those that we survive from. Ayan, sabi ni Jim Collins, great by choice. Dito pa si Mark. Mark, shout out pag andito ka. Yan, sa circle ko yan. Okay, so, getting practical. May oras ako. I hope you learned something. Okay, let's get practical. Ito na, matindi na to. Ano yung mga scaling principles? Ano yung mga scaling skills na meron dapat tayo? 3 M. Okay? Para madali natin tandaan. Okay, the first one is measure what matters. When scaling is really all about the numbers. Para tayong hawk na nakatingin sa numero, lalo na sa financial. Okay, this is what you call performance measurement design. Dapat marunong tayong mag-measure ng performance, i-design natin yon. Okay? How do you do this? The VNT, verb plus number plus task plus timeline. If you don't know how to do this, reviewin nyo na lang yung previous episode or talk to me. Ayan, I'll teach you how to do this. Or talk to Chris, ayan. O kaya kay Coach RD, ayan. Paturo kayo yung VNT. Kay Jobs, kay Jobs, ayan. Paturo kayo. Okay, so, for example, here's an example. Achieve 10 million revenue every month. So, achieve is a verb. 10 is the number, million revenue is the task, and every month is the timeline. Sila marunong mag-VNT yan, nagde-dailies yan. Okay. What else? Grow 50 circles. Ito yung sinasabi natin sa CEOInsight Asia, right? The goal is to grow the circles. We're 20 plus already this week, and the target is by April 30, we have 50 circle members. It's not a moonshot. Yung 20 plus na yon, if we will just invite one fellow CEO to become part of a circle, that's already 40 next sa Tuesday. And then if you invite yung 49 mag-invite, one will be 80. Diba? In April 30. So it's not a moonshot. But the point is, grow is the verb, 50 is the number, circle members is the task, and then the timeline. Okay. Or open 5 branches by December 31, 2022. So these are examples of VNT where we don't have enough time to cover this. Just watch the previous episode, have that conversation in the circle so you'll know how to do this in your organization. Okay, so measure what matters, performance measurement design. The second is map milestones. Okay, this is what you call the strategy design. How do you do that? Meron na tayong metrics, meron tayong gusto mangyari, open 5 branches. Now, we write down what 2 or 3 critical activities must we do to achieve our target. Yan. Ano yung mga task na kailangan natin gawin? Marami tayong gagawin, but ano yung critical? Okay, the Pareto principle, 80-20. Right? And last but not the least, make repeatable processes. This is what you call the operational system design. Okay. So how do you do this? You engineer those critical activities into a rhythm via calendar. Diba? Para siyang clockwork. 'Diba? Ikakalendaryo natin sila. 'Di ba, Lai? Alam na alam nila yan. Yan ang lagi. Kabisado niya yan. 'Di ba? So, kalendaryo, alam niyo naman tayo. Kaya nga may session ngayon eh. Kasi nakakalendaryo. 'Di ba? Hindi ko alam, holiday pala. Sorry na. Okay? So, importante when scaling, you have to calendar the critical activities. Kasi pag importante, kinakalendaryo. Like holiday ngayon, 'di ba? It's important to the nation. So naka-holiday, naka-calendar siya na block ito. Ganun din sa personal lives natin, anniversaries, birthdays, 'di ba? It's blocked. Ayan, mga 3 araw na nagpapaninig sa akin yung asawa ko eh. Daddy, holiday ha? 'Di ba? Tatrabaho ka pa rin. 'Di ba? So anyway, okay. So there. What else? Yan. What do we need to do every day? Put it there. Diba? Same time, same channel. Si BK, I'm not sure if he's here. Yeah, 'di ba may oras pa? Si RD rin may oras eh. Ako, ano lang, basta importante ma-accomplish yung task within the day. Yan. So every day, every week, what do we need to do every week and what do we need to do once a month? Dapat nakakalendar yan. Alright, to provide or help retention, I'll give you an image that you can carry in your head. So this is the triangle, measure what matters, map milestones, and make repeatable processes. Okay. There, in closing, diba? Closing na ako. In closing, we're all about scaling in numbers. Yan ang value na tinututukan natin ngayon. We want to scale in numbers. And ito yung mga key skill set na kailangan natin gawin. Measure what matters, map milestones, and make repeatable processes. Those are key competencies that we need to have and master if we're going to scale our enterprise. Okay. So, to put again that image in your head, measure what matters, map milestones, make repeatable processes. But our theme this month is leadership. Okay. And I did not mention the 4th critical component of scaling. Okay. And that 4th one is mold the leaders. That's it. Okay. Mold the leaders. Scaling sa team sport. You can't scale alone. We can't scale alone. You don't want to try that. You have to have the team to scale with you. And you have to mold them. Mold them with what? Measure what matters. We have to teach them how to do performance measurement design. We have to teach them how to design strategy, mapping milestones. And we have to teach them how to create operational system design. So that's what we do. Okay? Molding the leaders. Your CEOs, your business leaders. It's our job to mold our team because we can't do it alone. Only an idiot will try to scale on his own without equipping his or her team. Yes? Okay. So, the book CEO Next Door, database, solid to. Okay? It was their findings here, their data set rather, is one that is envied by Harvard. They interviewed a lot of CEOs. And here's what I discovered. Here's what they discovered that I came across. And sinishare ko to kay Coach RD nung nag-executive advisory kami ng Wednesday about mentoring. And sabi ko, hindi ko maalala kung saan ko sinulat. Saan ko nabasa yan. Dito pala, Coach RD. So sabi niya rito, when we had SAS is the outsource business performance analysis firm yun. They crunch our assessment data. We found that the weaker CEO candidates talk about the importance of mentors to their careers. The stronger ones talk about offering mentorship to others more than about the mentorship they receive themselves. We're not saying ignore the mentor. No, you have to have mentor. But the stronger ones are those who mentor. Diba? And this is where the circle comes in. We go back full circle. Diba? Dad jokes. Tatay na ako bakit pa? Okay. We go back full circle. Okay. The circle, you get an opportunity to be mentored. Again, it doesn't just show up. There's an insight there that you can read. You get an opportunity to be mentored. At the same time, when you share your insight, you get to mentor someone aside from your team. Okay, you're mentoring your team, sure. But here, you get an infusion of diverse insights from different industries, and then you get to share yours. That's why we're a fanatic of circle meetings, because this is the way we grow, because CEOs understand fellow CEOs. Hindi nagigets ng mga ng mga kahit pa vice president yan, hindi yan magigets, kahit director, because we see CEOs see the entire business. Directors see their own department, their own division. Supervisors, they don't get what we're going through. They don't talk to investors. They don't talk to the board. They don't think may papasweldo pa ba ako sa mga tao. They don't get to understand that. But we do. And that's why we created this ecosystem of CEOs who share insights with one another. So, Keril will share the link, at para dun sa mga nag-sign up at minessage ko, nagme-message po tayo. Diba? Ayan. Do join us on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Meron pa tayong couples dyan, si Comizen at saka si BK Rivera and Ayen of Seller Sub. They mentor couples, diba, na mag-partner na nag-start ng business, kasi we're into partnerships talaga. We value the relationship of the founders, particularly. Mas gusto natin yun na kayong mag-asawa, mag-partner ang nag-start ng business, and we have mentors to do that. All right. So in closing, and then I'll open the floor for conversation. Yan. Ito ang closing quote ko. Yan. Never forget, scaling is a team sport. You can't scale alone. Okay? We don't want to do that. That's the fastest way to lose your mind, is to scale on your own. Ikaw lang nakakaintindi ko anong gagawin. So bring your team.